in Colorado that would do some CNC work. Yeah, so like that's the thing. Don't the unless the body is like really the it's the necks that are the trouble. Doing the bodies aren't too bad, but depends on what kind of body you're doing and how you're doing it. It just kind of depends on what you're doing. What a lot of guys do who get to that level when the builders when you start outsourcing it, so there's a guy on YouTube, what's his name? He's a Scandinavian guy. He's a metal guy. He started Solar Guitars. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Can't remember his name. I'm sorry. But he's like a YouTuber guy. Ola England. Yeah. So what he did, I watched his video a little while ago. He came up with a design for solar, and he managed to get enough orders, and then he outsourced it to Indonesia, and he found a good place. Like, not all of the companies in Asia are garbage. Like, that's some are better than others. You have to do your research. Obviously, he found a good place for building them. He did a video where he went to the factory and he checked them out, and he said, yep, these are within my my specifications and stuff. So that's what you can do if you actually get orders that you can't fulfill. I'm nowhere near that yet. So it's like, yeah, you can do runs of like 500 guitars. You know, if you can move 500 guitars, you can find places that will do them for you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Luke, all those little I'm really interested in stuff like that, like just being able to make little kind of stuff like that, which just kind of makes the guitar kind of unique. I've been looking at more like little hardware stuff like that recently. Like I said, I would like to be able to do my own bridges eventually. Need to figure out how to work a little metal for lap steel parts. Fusion is free. Yeah. So for a lap steel, I'm not too familiar with lap steels, but I've seen some stuff on how to make steel guitars, and it's like the metal is actually thin enough that I believe you don't need like really heavy duty metal parts. Again, I'm just not too familiar with lap steels. I was watching a bunch of build, like kind of promo videos with Mule Guitars out in Michigan, and he does like steel resonator guitars. But there was just clips. I like to just watch it because there's just like clips and stuff of like his shop and how he welds them together and how he fits them together, which is really interesting, like the metal fabrication of it. I always look at Mule. I've talked about Matt Ike. I think his last name is Ike. I met him years ago when he was just starting out, and I've always kept track of him, just kind of watching what he's been doing, just because it's like he just did it right, and he started his own production facility. He's a very interesting builder just because he has a certain ethos behind what he's doing, and he wanted to do like a production facility in Michigan, and there's steel guitars there. It's Detroit, Michigan steel. It fits with his whole aesthetic, kind of working class guitars. They are not finished in chrome. They're raw steel. They're relict, things like that. It's a very nice aesthetic. And then he has his whole brand is built around it. You know, he's doing things right for him, for his brand. It's just very, very smart how he was able to pull it all together. I don't know if he had that single vision when he started. I've never talked to him. I just met him at a guitar show years ago and hung out with him a bit. I'd like to talk with him now and just pick his brain about how much he actually figured out beforehand, or if he just figured it out as he went. Your plan now is just cut some threaded rod. Works well, but you can do better. Yeah, get a Logic. I think the best thing to do is just start it, and you'll never be able to plan the entire thing out beforehand. You got to kind of figure things out as you go, and if it doesn't work, you do it again, and you just work it out. And that's what it's kind of like. Yeah. That's the thing is those parts are actually pretty thin. So you can do it with a lot of like basic tools. Yeah, for small parts. Yeah. Yeah, it depends. I haven't done much metal work for a while. That's a whole other beast. I haven't done any kind of metal work for guitars except really basic stuff. I can't really point you in the right direction, unfortunately, as to what the best route is. I realized my thing. So I used to do metal work back in the day. But it's kind of funny now I'm doing mostly woodworking. Because as a teenager, I did way more metalworking. I did some carving. I did wood carving